Every day I'm shot calling. I'm a spray champagne, make it rain just to let you know.
Yo, what is up, everybody? It's your boys, Casey and Travis here. We got a little bit of a smaller episode here for you this week. It shouldn't be too long for you.
Alright guys, so we just have a quick question. I mean, we know that our views are going down, and we're just wondering like what we can do to make it better for you guys and have you guys keep watching. So just let us know in the comments or try to get a hold of us somehow.
Anything to make you guys happy, keep you guys entertained. That's why we're going a little bit shorter episode this week, see if that might be the problem. But let's get straight into it with this week. We're only doing top takes.
Yeah, we felt that this week not too much happened to where it was good enough to be in top takes or it was big enough, so it's going to be kind of shorter this week.
Alright, so number 5 this week, we are going to pick our favorites to win the Stanley Cup. We haven't done a lot with the NHL this year, so we're going to start off this week focusing a little bit mainly on the NHL, so we figured we'd hit it hard.
Alright guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to go by conferences and we're going to tell you guys who we think is going to win and who we think is going to win the Stanley Cup as well.
Alright, so guys, I'm going to say for the Eastern Conference, who I think is going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, as much as I'd like to say the Bruins are going to be there, it's tough to say that because, I mean, they're not too far behind the Lightning, but I think the Lightning are going to pull away with the Atlantic Division, and then in the Metropolitan, I'm going to say the Penguins. As much as I hate the Penguins, but they're always there. They're always a contender regardless of where they are. If they're wild card, I'd still pick the Penguins just because they're that good. They're always a good team in my opinion.
So for the Eastern Conference, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're currently 39-20. They're third in the conference. They lead the conference with 6 shootout wins. So when it matters, they make it count.
Yeah, that's very true, very true. For the Western Conference, for the Central Division, Nashville Predators. I think they're going back to the Stanley Cup this year, except for this time I think they're going to win. I think they're a dangerous team to deal with. When I was younger, they never used to really be that much of a contender. I mean, they were playoff teams every once in a while, and now they're series contenders, and I think they actually can do something. As for the Pacific, I want to pick the Golden Knights just because, one, they're far ahead, but they had 87 points. It's nothing to bat an eye at. They are a very good team. As stated in previous episodes, they're the best inaugural team of any of the 4 major sports in the United States. I think they're going. As for a surprise contender this year that I think has a chance at winning the whole thing, I would pick San Jose Sharks. I've said since I was younger, me and my friend, shout out to T-Rex, we used to always argue, and I always told him San Jose Sharks are going to eventually win the Stanley Cup. And I say it every year. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And this year's the year. San Jose is going to win. Oh boy. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
So guys, for the Western Conference, for me, I actually have both the Predators and the Golden Knights along with KC here. We didn't plan for that. Predators are currently, they're 40-14, first in the Western Conference, and they play so well on the road and home. It really doesn't matter for them. And for the Golden Knights, I mean, they're 41-17. They're only 2 of their 41 wins come from overtime. So a lot of their wins are regulation.
They get it done in regulation. Yeah. That's one thing I did see was the Predators are first in the league in man-to-man goals. So it'd be 5-on-5. There's no power plays. 53% of their goals come from man-to-man. There's no advantage. 53. It's like 53.2% of how many goals they get are in even play, which is phenomenal. I'm really happy with that. But as for Stanley Cup winners, it's going to be Nashville or Tampa Bay. Seriously, I'm saying Nashville or Tampa Bay, not just because they're first in their conference overall, or first in their division, I should say, not necessarily first in conference, but that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
As of right now, they are the best teams in the league. The points they've had this year are phenomenal. As you said, Nashville's great at home, great on the road. They only have 3 more overtime losses on the road. They're 19-7-6 away, but 22-7-3 at home. Even if you have home rink advantage, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
They're still going to compete. They're still going to have a tough game ahead of them, though.
Still play good hockey.
Very true, very true.
So, guys, for number 4, we have Baker Mayfield, and at the NFL Combine, he had a quote saying the Browns are close to being good, and he thinks he can get them to be better and start winning games. What do you feel about it?
As you say, he thinks he's the missing piece. But I mean, this kid's got to be like hopped up on Mountain Dew or something, dude. Like he's. I mean, okay, yeah, you might be the missing piece, dude, but don't say you're going to turn the Browns around. Don't say I'm going to get drafted and come in and they're there. Like they're a good team. They're just missing a piece. Yada yada, you know what I mean? They don't say that because they were 0-16. If you say that and you come in and you don't perform, and if you say you're going to turn the Browns around, yes, you are. In my eyes, you are the best quarterback. Not best person, best quarterback in the draft this year. You have the best accuracy. You have great movement, great mobility. But it does not matter. Don't say that because even if you don't go to the Browns, if you go to say you go to the Jets or you go to the Titans or the Texans and you become that quarterback, they're going to expect a lot. Yeah. And I mean, they already do, even if you're a first-round pick, but they're going to expect a lot more if you say you can overperform with the Browns.
Yeah.
So I would just tell him watch what he says.
Yeah. I mean, just like you said, this automatically spikes his hopes.
Yeah.
What people think he's going to be because NFL team going 0-16. You're coming out of college. You haven't even trained with NFL players yet. Yeah. You're going to say you can lead a team, start winning games. I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, I like his confidence. Don't get me wrong, but this is how people get like bad starts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not necessarily bad reps or bad starts, but they're going to expect now a lot more from you if they draft you. They think that you're going to bring them to the playoffs, which the Browns getting to the playoffs is huge. It's a big deal. Just getting to the playoffs, just getting 5 wins is a big deal. So yes, in that aspect, if they get 4 to 5 wins, I would say he turned the Browns around because 0-16 to 5-11 is a great turnaround for the Browns, in my opinion.
Kind of relates back to the Lonzo Ball and his father thing when he got drafted. I mean, his father set his expectations so high, and Lonzo Ball is doing good, but not as good as he.
I was gonna say, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Lonzo Ball is a great basketball player. He's really smart basketball player. He's all the basketball IQ. He has the physical ability, but his shooting is just awful. I don't care what anybody says. He's got to change his form. It worked in college. But just like the NFL, just like any other place, college is totally different than the majors. You gotta do something different, dude. You gotta change up something. I know your jump shot's what got you to the NBA. Your batting stance is what got you to the MLB. Your arm is what got you to the NFL. But if things change, you have to adapt. Change is futile, whether people believe it or not. Seymour said it in Cars. Fillmore, sorry, not Seymour. Yeah, simple as that. At number 3, we have the NHL trade deadline, specifically what the New York Rangers did.
So, they basically traded away their whole team. Is this considered a rebuild?
It's hard not to consider it a rebuild. They had pretty much traded their whole team. I mean, yes, I guess you could say they're going to try and make a playoff run off of this. They released a newsletter about a month ago before the trade deadline and said to fans, we might have to part ways with guys that you're used to seeing around, that guys that you love, but we're going to try and make a playoff run with the deals we make. Which I'm not saying they can't, but this is a rebuild, just like the Cavs. They cleaned house. It does not matter.
Do you think it's going to have the same type of outcome? I don't want to say the same type because it's two completely different sports, but do you think they're going to continue winning games or maybe have a different play style?
They're definitely going to have a different, I don't want to say different play style because it's still the same coach. But it's definitely going to be, because it's all those new guys at once, it's going to take a little bit to adapt. It's not going to be like the Cavs where it's like that. Hockey's a totally different world. I feel hockey and basketball, obviously 2 different realms, but I feel like hockey you have to have so much more chemistry because you're working with everybody all the time. You're not just you're working in shifts. Yes, you have the same lines and stuff, but you never know, you know what I mean? You have to get well with those 5 guys, 4 guys on the ice, including goalie.
You gotta be ready for any situation.
But the Rangers, like I said, it's got to be a rebuild. If it's not a rebuild, I don't know what they're gonna do. Over the 3 days before the trade deadline, the Rangers had 4 or 5 different trades where they traded almost everybody, cleaning house just to make a playoff run. They traded away Nash, which is huge for them. They traded him to the Bruins, which is it's a nice addition for the Bruins, but it's a bad subtraction for the Rangers, I feel, because yes, they still have veterans on that team. They still have Henrik and everything, but I don't know. It's tough to tell. It's still too early. I think there's hope behind them, but.
So why do you think if they're going to try to make a playoff run now, why didn't they either wait till the end of the season to clean house, or why did they do this mid-season?
They were just underperforming, you know what I mean? Just like the Cavs, they're underperforming. I'm not saying they had really high expectations from fans this year, because I mean they've been bad the past couple of years, but they've made playoffs, you know what I mean? Yeah. They've made long playoffs runs over the past few years. Yeah. So fans expect it, and when they came in and they weren't performing up to par, yes, it might upset fans to trade them, but it needed to happen. It's something that needed to happen.
Right. So guys, at number 2, we have the LA Rams traded defensive end Robert Quinn to the Dolphins for a mid-round pick in the draft.
Well, also don't forget, they had 2 late rounds swapped. So the Dolphins are actually getting a later pick from the Rams, and the Rams are getting a higher pick. And I think this could be big for the Rams, having a high and low pick for that round. I think this could be huge for them. I think if they play their cards right, they can end up with a good pick.
I personally think this trade isn't a good one, though, because I felt the Rams' defense was pretty decent last year. I mean, Robert Quinn is no joke. It's definitely weird that they did a mid-round pick. It's really weird. I mean, I know it's only a defensive end, but it doesn't matter. He was a huge aspect to their defense last year, and it's a huge addition for the Dolphins. Yeah. And I think with this addition, the Dolphins, I'm not saying they become a serious contender, but they're there. Their defense is there. Yeah. I know it's only one guy, but there's still a lot of offseason left. They can still make plenty of moves. Yeah. The Dolphins' offense last year, it was great. They just couldn't stop teams from scoring, and now with Robert Quinn on there, they have 3 of the top fearsome defensive players since 2012.
Very true. So, and numero uno this week, guys, we have Shohei Ohtani's debut at the plate and on the mound. Yes, the two-way phenom from Japan. Oh, love this guy.
So, what's the deal? How did he do?
Oh my gosh. Just this Friday, so just yesterday, this guy faced 12 Brewers, okay? So just 12 batters. Faced 12 batters over the course of, I want to say 3 or 4 innings. Struck out 8 of them out of 12. So even if he didn't get the other 4 people out, 8 strikeouts and 12 batters, that's very good. Yeah. The kid's got it. He doesn't just have it, he has stuff. He's got stuff, and his stuff is nasty. His curveball is phenomenal. One ESPN reporter is quoted in saying his breaking balls were like wiffle balls last night. He just, every pitch just broke. His 12-6 curve was nasty. The kid, you can't touch him. But as for batting, he had 3 plate appearances this week. Just this week, he only had 3. The first 2 he got walked. So it's like, okay, he got walked. You can't really say much, but he knows how to draw a walk. He knows how to watch the ball. And then he belts a freaking ripper right up center field for a single RBI. There's nothing else to say, but the kid is a stud because, I mean, yes, it's spring training. Yes, they're not all major leaguers. They're all minor leaguers and so on and stuff. But it doesn't matter. Like, if this kid can do it, he can do it. He can. There's nothing besides that.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if he's going against major leagues or not, because you still have to throw that pitch, and like you said, it's nasty. Yeah. I've seen videos on it.
Even in Japan, he was great. Yeah. I'm not bashing the league or anything, but he was great, and he's going to be great in major leagues. He's going to be really good, and I'm really excited for him at the plate and on the mound. He's one of, if not the best two-way player in recent years or ever. Babe Ruth was great. He was a great two-way player, in quotes. But this kid's got it, and there's a lot of resemblance, you know what I mean? There were people saying it before he came to the majors this year, about how he could be the next Babe Ruth, about how good he actually is. I'm not going to say that because Babe Ruth, the greatest. Everybody says he's the greatest. You know how I feel. You can't have a greatest because different eras, different people. But this kid's got a chance. You know what I mean? One of the greatest two-way players of all time, let alone in recent years. He's got to be the best. All right, guys, so that wraps up this week's episode. Told you it was going to be a little bit short this week. So make sure you hit that like button and be sure to subscribe and let us know in the comments what we can do to make this better for you.
Remember, guys, go on Instagram and follow us. Like us on Facebook. And remember, guys,
1 phrase,
6 words.
been ballin',
Still ballin'.
stay ballin'.
Tell a hater get up on my face. Yeah, I've been ballin' since like